All right, welcome to the third review of the evening. Up this time is Spirit Hunters Infinite Horde. I guess technically speaking, yeah, this is actually the impressions video for the week. Because this is an early access title. And it is, you are the Spirit Hunters in this action roguelite.
You're not gonna like the scythe, Petty.
Oh boy.
It attacks every 2 seconds.
Oh no.
All right, yeah. So this was given to the Galax. So over to him since he wishes to speak about the game in detail.
Sorry, I didn't mean to. So this game, first off, I'm not saying this is a bad game, but it feels kind of like a twin stick shooter that lost the second stick. Orbital, yeah.
I haven't played this, so I'm just kind of feeling things out.
I was gonna say Orbital Fire is the most reliable initial thing. So you're playing as a spirit hunter whose job is to purify spirits in an area, basically. So you go into the area and have to kill enemies for the first few stages, which are all I unlocked. The first couple stages, which I unlocked, are for 15 minutes. Then a boss shows up and you have to kill the boss. You start out with a choice of 4 skills and 2 people. The male dark mage has and for each combination you get a synergy. So the male character has higher hit points, the female has higher I think her base thing is that she actually absorbs the souls which are experienced that the enemies drop from a wider range. The male, and for each combination of the character and the thing, you get a specific synergy. I played literally all but one time as the male, starting with Orbital Fire, because the male's things generally, the male character's things mostly, the Dark Mage things focus on health regain, and he has more health to start with. And all of his synergies are some way of regaining health. Like the Orbital Fire is every time you gain a level and upgrade Orbital Fire, he regains 10 hit points. Or if you do Scythe, it's when you kill something with the Scythe, it has a chance of dropping a heart. And most of his other powers that I've unlocked are percentage chance to heal a hit point every time it's cast. So the basic 4 things are the Scythe, which attacks pretty much in front of you. I think it might only be on the side. The Arrow, which attacks randomly towards enemies. Like, it always is aiming at something, but you can't control what. And the Spears, which just pop up somewhere on the screen whenever their cooldown goes up. You have no control over this, which is the biggest issue I have with the game. And then whenever you level up, you get the choice to unlock a new power or improve one of your existing ones, such as by increasing its power, increasing its size, decreasing its cooldown, or increasing the critical hit chance or something. So, since it's the only one that's continually existent, I pretty much always, even after I unlocked 3 more things, which are a patch of vines, a pair of bones that you throw up above and below you, and some tornadoes that you shoot out at an angle, I always started with the orbiting fire and just tried to get it as fast and big as possible, and everything else was kind of a bonus. I feel like maybe one of the things they might want to do as they progress is balance the game a little better. So you do want to move around. As you move around, you'll encounter different types of enemies, and also you will find chests and merchant tents and crystal, like rocks with crystals in them, and also boxes. And if you break the boxes, you'll get money and rarely runes or hearts. When you kill enemies, they drop souls that are experience that you need to collect. And with the chests and orbs, you have to stay within a radius of them for enough time to unlock them before they will actually open. If you leave the area, it stays for like a little while before it starts draining. And those will drop the chests will mostly drop money, hearts, and runes. The crystal rocks will drop crystals, and crystals and runes are meta progression items that don't do anything in the stage, but do things between stages. Money is used in the stage when you find a tent. Sometimes the enemies will get thick after a while. I find the best thing to do in that is just to bug out. Like, get away even if you take a bit of damage. So yeah, you just go until you die, which you're probably going to die on your first run. It's practically impossible. And then when you die, you get sent back to the Oracle, who has a sphere grid looking thing for you to spend crystals and runes on to either unlock new options like pets that improve your performance, or improvements for your existing skills. Like, it's not like improvements for your existing skills, the ability to make the in-battle improvements faster, which is actually kind of a big thing. Oh yes, and as you can see, Pettyfan has attracted that giant neon tornado. That's one of the mini bosses that appears every so often. But yeah, you want to try to gather the experience to level up and stuff. So, and also you can unlock, if you get enough, new characters, which I didn't get any of, new actions that you can do, and like also you can just buff all of the character choices, hit points, totals, and stuff. Which the progression is a little bit slow, but it's not bad. And then I don't know what this red fire resource is, because there isn't any of it in, I think, the first 2 stages, which are all I got to. So yeah, the little gray nodes next to the additional things, next to the colored in things, are the things you can select. So first off, they cost something, and then a lot of the good ones also require you to have killed a certain number of a specific enemy, which are not all found in every, like, some things will require the enemies from the second world. You have to kill like 100 chickens or whatever to be able to unlock some power. And then obviously you can't do that until you go to the stage where there are chickens. So it pretty quickly becomes about meta progression, like improving the things. I think even after you unlock more powers, I think you can only have 4 powers in a current actual thing. Like you have, like once you've unlocked 4, you will only get upgrades for your current ones, and not the ability to unlock any new ones. So yeah, the more difficult levels, also you can unlock, next to the thing where you unlock levels, you can unlock harder versions of the same level, which presumably give you significantly bigger rewards. But you're going to I put in a few hours in this game. It's going to take a lot of time before you're actually able to permanently like, I did like a couple hours, that's like 8 runs. I beat the boss of the first level once out of like 4 times getting to it. So yeah, that was it does a lot of damage, and also hope you still have health left and weren't like dying at the end, because when you get to the boss of the first one, also it's in a arena that shrinks every so often, made out of spikes. So like there's a spike fence around it. So yeah, it's not. It's a game that wants you to put in a lot of time, just earning currency to get good, I think. As far as the flaws, because the moment-to-moment gameplay isn't terrible, but I really wish you had more actual control. Like, you, even if it still had a cooldown, like if you could aim the scythe and make it go when you wanted it to, or if you could aim the arrow, even if the scythe still moved in your direction. Because it really feels like this is a game where you get surrounded really fast, and the ability to clear out things in a specific direction so you could move away from them would be nice. And like to be able to choose the direction instead of it just being locked to whatever weapons you have, which is, again, why I kind of went with the circular fireball for most of my things, because it's always there. If there's a crowd, you can sweep through everything, you know?
Mm-hmm.
There's also the choice to re-roll once you get enough money to re-roll your upgrades if you don't like the upgrades you're given the choice of. Like, if, say, you are playing as, his name seems to be Magnus. I wasn't really paying attention to that much. He's just the dark mage guy. If you're playing as him and you get, you have the fireball and the upgrade, and you have like less than half health, and you don't get any options for upgrading the fireball, and that's the one that'll heal you. That's what mostly I ended up using that for. The lady's power-ups are interesting. Her stuff is all on leveling up super fast, basically. Like, she gets things that make it so that she can collect souls from further away and make enemies more likely to drop souls, which sounds nice, but also I'm concerned about her longevity, especially since she has less hit points to start with. And again, because I wasn't able to do it to get very far in the second stage, I wasn't able to actually beat the second to unlock any other characters, so I don't know what their things are. The shops, the prices of the individual items seem to be random. Sometimes it will well, first off, the items are random. You can buy healing hearts and souls and crystals and stuff. But once you unlock pets, you can buy pets, but which specific ones are available seems to be random. The shop disappears once you've done it, and sometimes they will literally have 2 copies of the same thing for sale, and one is cheaper than the other. And yes, you can buy both of them, but if you don't need it, there's no downside to taking the cheaper one. And money does not carry over between lives, so spend it while you got it is my is what I'm going to say about that. I don't think. Do you guys have any questions? I think I've said most of it.
I don't.
I think I'm good.
Yeah, there's actually a good amount of like strategic meat to this. I just sometimes felt like my actions weren't having as much direct input as I would like, because I can't like directly control any of the attacks. That's kind of another reason why I like the orbital fire, because you can kind of move it so that it'll swing through the people you want it to, instead of like having to wait for the next like, you can get the cooldown, but the cooldown won't be less than a second on the scythe, until you've gotten a few upgrades into it. Because at the start, the cooldown is decreasing by 1/10 of 1 second. Which, when it starts out at like 2.2 seconds. I mean, I'm not trying to knock the scythe. It's just, it's...
Oh, it's fine.
It always seemed like... that's the one I tried starting with once, and it did not attack fast enough for the number of enemies that were quickly all up in my face. I guess it is slightly better for if you're trying to move in a straight horizontal line, clearing things out. But yeah, once I actually had the choices, I was usually using like Scythe, the Bones, which attack up and down at a regular interval, and Tornado, which is kind of randomly thing. But the Tornado special thing is that A, it's much wider than the arrow, and B, it pushes back enemies. So even if you can't control it, it'll always like help give you a new way to go, you know? At least that's the theory I was operating on. So I know this isn't impressions, but what's the damage price-wise currently?
$5.
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly a lot of meat here if you don't mind it being a little bit grindy.
I mean, it comes with the territory of the whole rogue-lite thing.
Mm-hmm. It would also be fun if you could play with multiplayer, but that I didn't see an option for that.
Looking over the roadmap here, they don't seem to have multiplayer plugged in right now. But
yeah, it reminds me of a couple of other games that are not exactly the same, but where you like have people with more specific skills, and you can like work as a team instead of having to be entirely self-sufficient on your own. Which again, that's why I took the guy where I have a pretty good chance of getting health refills on a regular basis.
Mm.
So yeah, overall, I think I can give this a recommendation unless you think it would be think it would be boring to just fight enemies for 15 minutes and then fight a boss or die.
Uh-huh.
Which is fair. It's not the most original concept. Oh, and the other thing is when you do kill a boss, you don't just get their drops. They drop a boss chest that you then have to unlock the same way as any other chest. And I believe chest unlock speed is one of the parameters that can be increased on the... Sorry, I'm just going to call it the sphere grid. So yeah, I think that's all I got to say. I actually enjoyed this as like a time-killing thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it will take if you get put off by slow progression, you might not enjoy it that much.
Anything else?
Not really.
All right, so that'll about do it for Spirit Hunters Infinite Mode. Be sure to tune in after the break as we'll be reviewing the 100-Year Kingdom.